Hello grade 12s, allow me to take you through the independent events under probability in grade 12. Now, let's look at the given example. It is given that A and B are independent events. Okay, we are told that the two events are independent. Then there are events that are mutually exclusive. If they are not mutually exclusive, then therefore they are independent. Now the given events are independent, A and B. The probability of A is 0,4 and the probability of B is 0,5. So this is the information given that we have. Now the question says calculate the probability of A or B. Calculate the probability of A or B, and remember that the probabilities given are that of A and that of B. Remember that the independent events, the two independent events are defined by the equation probability of A or B is equal to the probability of A plus the probability of A then minus the probability of A and B. So this is the equation that describes or defines the independent events. Now, before you calculate the probability of A or B, you then need to know the probability of A and B. How do we get that? Let's move on. The probability of A and B is equal to the probability of A multiplied by the probability of B. And remember that in the statement, the probability of A is given and that of B is given. Then therefore it means that with this equation you will be able to get the probability of A and B. Then you substitute probability of A is 0,5, then 0,4 and the probability of B is 0,5. Then therefore it gives us that the probability of A and B is 0,5, 0,2. 0,2 is the probability of A and B. Now in this step now you can check your equation that defines the independent events. Probability of A or B is equal to the probability of A which we have plus the probability of B that we have minus the probability of A and B which we have calculated already. Then let's move on. Now we come to the equation now, full equation of the independent events. Then we substitute value of the probability of A, the value of the probability of B, and the value of the probability of A and B. Then it gives us that the probability of A or B is 0,7. This is the probability of A or B. So remember that the probability of A and B is not equal to 0. In a case whereby the events are said to be independent. So probability of A and B is equal to the probability of A multiplied by the probability of B. Right, let's move to the second question. Calculate the probability that neither A or B, meaning that the two events are independent, but now we want the probability that neither event A occurs nor event B occurs. Now, how do we calculate that? That neither of the two events is taking place. Now, probability of neither A or B occurs is equal to 1 minus the probability that either A or B occurs in the similar space. Then therefore, if we now say the probability of A or neither A or B occurs is equal to 1 minus 0,7. Therefore, the probability that neither A or B occurs is equal to 0,3. Thank you.